Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are discussing who is Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita. In the 9th verse of the 4th chapter, Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam. His birth and activities are completely spiritual, completely transcendental. Now, to understand the transcendental nature of Krishna's birth and activities, especially his birth, this is very nicely described in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. But even the Bhagavatam, described by compiled by Vyasadeva, spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, even the Bhagavatam requires explanation by acharyas, contemporary acharyas, who will help us understand how Krishna's birth is completely transcendental. Now, the birth of Krishna is described in the 3rd chapter of the 10th canto in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. It is clearly said that the Supreme Lord first appeared in the form of Vishnu to convince Vasudeva and Devaki that it is the Supreme Lord only who is appearing as their son. It's not an ordinary child. It's not a human child. But still, Devaki prayed to the Supreme Lord, kindly hide your features as Vishnu, so that Kamsa may not understand Vishnu has taken birth. This was Devaki's concern. Because Kamsa had already killed past 6 children who had taken birth of Devaki and Vasudeva. So Devaki did not want Kamsa to know that Vishnu has taken birth as her child, as her 8th son. So she therefore prayed to the Lord. Now the Lord is also very anxious and eager to satisfy his devotees. He is performing his pastimes of taking birth and performing transcendental activities, but still he wants to please his devotees. Now Vasudeva and Devaki have prayed to the Lord, kindly appear as our son. 3 times the Lord has appeared. This is the 3rd time the Lord is appearing as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. This is the 3rd time. So because they desired like that, so the Lord is satisfying their desire. Now, under the circumstances that they are imprisoned and Kamsa is just waiting for the 8th child to be born, and Kamsa is afraid that the 8th son is predicted to be the cause of Kamsa's death. So Kamsa is just waiting. So therefore Devaki prayed to the Lord, kindly transform yourself into an ordinary child. So the Lord, in order to please his devotees, he spoke, explained to them that this is the 3rd time he is appearing as their son, and reminded them of the previous 2 times when he had appeared as their son, each time Prishnigarbha and Vamana. Now what happens to living beings is they can't remember their past births. Like in the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna tells Arjuna that Arjuna is not able to remember his past births, but Krishna can remember all of them. Arjuna asks a question from Krishna that you are telling you spoke this Bhagavad Gita millions of years back to the sun god, and now you're going to speak the same Bhagavad Gita to me. Now, how can I understand that you spoke this Bhagavad Gita millions of years back when I know that you have just appeared as my contemporary cousin, as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki? So, Krishna says to Arjuna, both you and I have been taking many births in the past. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. So, how is it that Krishna can remember all his past appearances, but Arjuna cannot? Or in this case, Vasudeva and Devaki cannot. So, the explanation given is that the living being is limited, always limited. So, the living being cannot remember the past births, whereas Krishna is unlimited Supreme Lord. So, he can remember all the past births. His memory is unlimited. So, Krishna can remember. So, that's why here we see Krishna is reminding Vasudeva and Devaki, I have appeared as your son in the past, and again the third time now I am appearing as your son based on your prayers. To fulfill your desires, I am appearing. So, Vasudeva and Devaki are very pleased that the Lord is so kind upon us. But still, Devaki is having that anxiety. Of course, nobody can kill Krishna. Even the devotees know that. But still, out of their affection as parents' natural tendency, natural inclination is to protect their children. So, Devaki and Vasudeva, as the mother and father of the newborn child, are simply trying to protect the child. So, that's why they are anxious, and Krishna wants to relieve their anxiety. Krishna says, okay, having spoken thus to his father and mother, having responded to their prayers, Vasudeva and Devaki both offered prayers to Krishna in his form as Vishnu when he appeared first. Then the Supreme Lord turned himself into an ordinary child in their presence and remained silent. Now, Krishna changing his form, it entirely happens by his spiritual energy. It is unlike we changing our form constantly under the material energy. Like this body each one of us has got, this body is changing. We think the body is growing. There is no growth for the body because the body is dead matter. It is changing. It is changing by the effect or the influence of the material energy. Krishna's form is completely spiritual, and by the spiritual energy, as Krishna desires, his form also exactly according to his desire will be manifest, will be present, or will be seen. Just like when Arjuna requested Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, kindly show me the form in which you have entered this entire universe. Because in the 10th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna, I have entered into this universe as Paramatma, into every living being's heart, into every material atom, I have entered as Paramatma. So, Arjuna is asking Krishna, can I see that form in which you have entered into this universe? So, Krishna then shows his universal form to Arjuna, Vishwarupa. 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Vishwarupa Darshana. Krishna shows his universal form. Now, how can Krishna show his universal form to Arjuna? He changes his form to show his universal form. Krishna is present in many forms, unlimited number of forms, for the sake of his devotees, simply for the sake of his devotees. Therefore, if the question is raised, Krishna is present in many forms, which is the original form of Krishna? The original form. Because Krishna is one person. So which is the original form? The form. Krishna's original form, the form. So that is explained in the scriptures as Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The form of Krishna as Govinda, as Shama Sundara. Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. His form as Shama Sundara or Govinda in Vrindavan as a youthful form, 16-year-old, young boy, just entering adulthood, like that, blooming, freshly blooming youth, Nava Yauvanam. So that form is Krishna's original form. All other forms of Krishna are expansions of Krishna for the sake of his Leela, for the sake of his devotees, for the sake of his reciprocation with his devotees. So, the universal form is one such expansion of Krishna's form. The four-handed form is another such form. So, Arjuna first wished to see the universal form. So, Krishna showed, Arjuna became completely struck with fear, because it's a ghastly form. The universal form is a ghastly form. Arjuna saw in that form how in that universal form Krishna is devouring everything as Kala. Kalosmi lokakshayakrit. He is destroying everything. Everything that is created is systematically devoured by Kala. Little by little by little. We don't realize from birth up to death, whatever body that we have got is being devoured, is being destroyed little by little by little. What is being destroyed, we think, oh, I'm growing. I'm growing. There's no growth for this body. It is simply being destroyed, that's all. And death is called the final stroke of Kala. Sometimes Kala is also called as death. I mean, death is also understood to be an effect or the influence of Kala. In Kannada, sometimes they say, Kala Vabutru. Somebody is dead and gone, passed away. They'll say, Kala Vabutru. Even in Hindi, I think they say, Unka Kal ho gaya. Their time is over. They passed away. All such terms they use just to avoid telling that they are dead. But actually the fact is the person is dead. Person is dead means the body is no longer there. That body is gone. That body is finished. They have actually changed their body in a way that everyone can make out, oh, the change of body has actually occurred. Even every moment our body is changing, but we cannot make out. We think, oh, I am growing. But actually there is no growth for the body. Just like this table. Will this table ever grow? No. Table only we know it will become weaker and weaker and weaker, and one day it will crumble and finish. Over. Its strength is finished. So it is being devoured by Kala. Same way our body is also being devoured by Kala. Whereas Krishna's form is transcendental. There is no effect of Kala. There is no effect of material energy. Only spiritual energy facilitates Krishna's requirements. So here we can see Krishna has appeared in the form of Vishnu in front of Devaki and Vasudeva. Then at their request, he transformed himself into a human child. Now this human child, human-like child actually, is not an ordinary form of Krishna. It's not a material form. So even though it's described here, the Lord turned himself into an ordinary child in their presence and remained silent. It is not a material form. It looks like another newly born human child, but actually it is not. The Lord has appeared. Now, it is described further. Being ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva prepared to take his son from the delivery room. Vasudeva got instructions from Krishna what to do. Krishna told him, take me and hide me in the house of Nanda Maharaj. So, Vasudeva now is preparing to take his son and hide him, because Vasudeva is also anxious. If Kamsa comes to know, Kamsa will actually attempt to kill the child. And Vasudeva wants to protect the child. It is also described exactly at that time when Krishna had appeared actually. A daughter was born to Nanda and Yashoda in Nanda Gokula, in Vrindavan, across the river Yamuna. The Yamuna river flows through the Braja Mandala, the Dham, Vrindavan Dham, and it divides the Vrindavan Dham itself into two parts. So there are totally 12 forests which comprise the Vrindavan Dham, Braja Dham, or Braja Mandala as it's called sometimes, and there are 7 forests on one side of the Yamuna river, and there are 5 forests on the other side of the Yamuna river. So this place called Nanda Gokula is on one side of Yamuna, and on the opposite side of Yamuna is Mathura, the town of Mathura. So Krishna appeared in the palace of Kamsa, where Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned, in that prison house only. So he was appearing in Mathura. Even now if you go, they will show you the Janmasthan, the spot where Krishna appeared 5,000 years back. That spot is a sacred spot and it is worshipped. Devotees worship all the places where Krishna performed his pastimes, including this Janma Leela, the pastime of taking birth, because Lord is unborn. Ajopisan Avyayatma, he's got no birth. He is never forced by karma. Karma is under his, laws of karma are under his control. He is not under the laws of karma. So, he is unborn, but he appears according to his own sweet will, for the sake of his devotees, for the sake of displaying his pastimes, for his own purposes. He appears. He disappears when his pastimes are wound up in this world. He disappears. So, there is no birth, there is no death for Krishna, never. But he appears to take birth. That's why Prabhupada uses the word appearance. Avirbhava, in Sanskrit it is Avirbhava. Sometimes it is described as Janma, but sometimes it is also described accurately as Avirbhava, means appearance. He becomes visible. He is present everywhere, but he becomes visible in a particular form sometimes for the sake of his Leela. He becomes visible. And after some time he becomes invisible. Tirobhava. Avirbhava is appearance. Tirobhava is disappearance. Avirbhava means he becomes visible. Tirobhava means he becomes invisible. So the Supreme Lord is completely spiritual, and with these eyes we cannot see spiritual form. We cannot see spiritual form. So when the Lord becomes visible, it's not that he is visible because he has taken a material form. That's what some people think. Ordinarily, spirit we cannot see, or spiritual form we cannot see with his eyes. So if God is spiritual and he has become visible in some form, they think, oh, God has taken one material form so that we can see him. No, God doesn't take any material form. Still, how is he visible to ordinary people's eyes? It is because he gives the power of seeing him in his spiritual form till the time he is manifesting his avatara. Till the time he wants us to be able to see him, he gives us the power. That is his prerogative. He has got unlimited power. So he gives the power. Whoever sees him when he is incarnated, they can see him in his form, though they may or may not be able to understand that this form is actually a spiritual form. Only the devotees can understand, even though Krishna's form resembles a human form, Krishna's form is non-material. Krishna's form is completely spiritual. Devotees know that. Vasudeva and Devaki, from their prayers, you can easily make out. They are telling, your form is completely spiritual. Your form is not material. You don't belong to this world. You belong to the spiritual world. Clearly they are telling in their prayers. Therefore, it is explained here, exactly at that time when Krishna appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki, on the other side of the Mathura, of the Yamuna river in Nanda Gokula, to Nanda and Yashoda, a daughter was born. She was Yogamaya. Yogamaya means one of the energies of Krishna called the internal energy or the spiritual energy, the confidential energy, the spiritual energy. So she is personification of that spiritual energy, Yogamaya. She has appeared for the sake of Krishna Leela. Now what is she going to do? That will be explained in the course of Shukadeva Goswami describing the pastimes of Krishna. So she has appeared as the daughter of Nanda and Yashoda. By her influence, by the influence of this internal potency or this Yogamaya Shakti, all the residents of Kamsa's palace were overwhelmed with deep sleep, including the doorkeepers who were supposed to stay there guarding. And all the palace doors opened, although Vasudeva and Devaki were completely shackled with iron chains. All the locks opened, all the doors opened, and the doorkeepers as well as the inhabitants of that palace, residents of Kamsa's palace, everyone was fast asleep under the influence of Yogamaya. Not only they were fast asleep, even in Nanda Gokula, after Yogamaya's appearance, everyone in Nanda Gokula also was fast asleep. They were also fast asleep under the influence of Yogamaya. And the night was, because Krishna appeared in the middle of the night. Night was very dark. But as soon as Vasudeva took his son, Krishna, and went out, he could see everything just as in sunlight. It was so bright. How is it possible? That is explained by Srila Prabhupada, that it is said in the scriptures that Krishna is just like sunlight, and wherever there is Krishna, the illusory energy which is compared to darkness cannot remain. So wherever there is Krishna, there is always light. And wherever there is Krishna, there is no darkness, there is no effect of illusory energy. So when Vasudeva was carrying Krishna, the darkness of the night disappeared. And all the prison doors automatically opened. So Vasudeva did not have problem with darkness, did not have problem with the prison doors being locked. He did not have any problem. Now, outside what is happening? At that time, there was thunder in the sky and severe rainfall. Torrential rain was there. So, therefore, now how can Vasudeva take his son through this rain? So, what happened? Lord Shesha is another form of the Supreme Lord who performs pastimes in this world. So Shesha, in the shape of a serpent, spread his hood over the head of Vasudeva so that the child would not be affected by the rainfall. So Shesha was protecting using his hood. And he was following Vasudeva. Shesha was following Vasudeva. Now Vasudeva came to the bank of the river Yamuna. He has to cross over the river to go to the other side where Nanda Maharaj is staying in another place, Nanda Gokula. So he came and he saw the water of Yamuna was roaring with waves, and that the whole span was full of foam. Because heavy rain is falling, Yamuna is flowing with a lot of force, and that force with which Yamuna is flowing is creating foam. So how can he cross? Still, in that furious feature, the Yamuna river gave passage to Vasudeva. It is described in the Bhagavatam. Just as the great Indian Ocean gave a path to Lord Rama when he had to cross the Indian Ocean to go from India to Lanka along with the monkey army. When Ramachandra had to cross, the ocean gave way to Lord Rama by helping him build a bridge to cross over. In the same way, Vasudeva was given passage by the river Yamuna so that he could easily cross. In this way, Vasudeva crossed the river Yamuna. On the other side, Vasudeva went to the palace of Nanda Maharaj, situated in Gokula, where he saw that all the covered men, all the residents were fast asleep. Again, it's the influence of Yogamaya only, that they are all fast asleep. The same Yogamaya is facilitating Vasudeva and Devaki to do whatever they have to do. And the same Yogamaya is putting others into sleep so that Vasudeva and Devaki can do their work without anybody coming to know of it. Vasudeva saw all the covered men fast asleep by the same influence of Yogamaya. So he had no difficulty to enter the house of Nanda and Yashoda. Silently he went inside, and without difficulty he exchanged his son for the baby girl who was newly born there. Both have appeared at the same time, Krishna and Yogamaya. But Vasudeva exchanged his son, placed his son next to Yashoda, and took that baby girl. Then he returned to the prison of Kamsa and silently put the girl on the lap of Devaki. He returned again without any difficulty, the same way he had gone. He simply returned. Nobody knew what is happening. Everybody is fast asleep, including Kamsa and all the doorkeepers in Kamsa's palace. And even this side in Nanda Gokula, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, everyone is fast asleep. They don't know what is happening, what is being done by Vasudeva and Devaki. They don't know. So he again clamped the shackles on himself, closed all the doors, so that Kamsa could not recognize that so many things had happened from midnight up to some early morning hours. Kamsa could not make out. So Mother Yashoda could understand that a child had been born to her, but because she was tired from the labor of childbirth, she fell fast asleep. When she awoke, she did not remember whether she had given birth to a male or a female child. So everything, as Krishna says, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, his birth and his activities are completely spiritual. They are happening under the spiritual energy. Unlike our life, our body, our activities in this world are all happening under the material energy. This difference we have to note very carefully. I'll take some questions now. Can we offer garden flowers to Krishna? Are there any restrictions? The answer is yes, you can offer garden flowers to Krishna. That is because in the scriptures it is said, for worshipping devatas, there are a lot of specific rules and directions. And the devatas can give benedictions only if somebody follows all the rules and regulations perfectly. Like for example, those who worship Ganesha, they have to worship Ganesha by offering a particular type of grass called durva. Now even the durva, there are different varieties, and I heard there are 21 varieties of durva, and they have to offer one particular variety 21 numbers in worshipping Ganesha. So of course nowadays we know people try to worship with whatever they can get and whatever numbers or whatever varieties or whatever flowers. But actually if they are desirous to get the benediction or the boon from Ganesha, they have to follow the scriptural directions exactly, perfectly. They cannot compromise. If they compromise, there is no possibility of their getting their benediction or boon fulfilled. That is not possible. All the devatas are bound by the laws, the directions in the scriptures. Nobody can violate. Neither the worshippers can violate nor the devatas can violate the rules and regulations mentioned in the scriptures. Now if there is violation, there may be no danger or difficulty for the devata or the worshipper of the devata, but in any case the devata or the worshipper cannot disregard this violation of the rules and regulations. If there is violation, the devata cannot grant the benediction. The worshipper cannot get the benediction if there is violation. Whereas in the case of Krishna, Krishna himself says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Krishna says he accepts if somebody offers him one leaf. He doesn't specify which leaf. He doesn't specify. Patram means one leaf. In Sanskrit, the usage of the word patram, patram, patre, patrani, like that there are singular, dual and plural in Sanskrit language, if you know a little Sanskrit. So patram means one leaf. So you offer me one leaf, or you offer me one flower, or you offer me one fruit. He doesn't specify which flower, which fruit, which leaf. But important thing Krishna wants is devotion. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. He wants devotion. So if you offer with devotion Krishna some very insignificant thing, Krishna accepts it. And Krishna is more than willing to satisfy the desires of his devotees. Devotees generally don't ask Krishna anything, because even without their asking, Krishna fulfills all their needs and requirements, provides them everything without their asking. In case they ask something, Krishna will definitely provide. And Krishna is not bound by any rules. Krishna is not having any restrictions like the devatas. So that's why I am telling the answer for this question is, yes, you can offer your garden flowers to Krishna. You can offer. But if you have to offer with devotion, definitely you will offer flowers which are fresh instead of offering flowers which are completely spoiled, or they have completely become dried up. No. One offering with devotion will offer the best, will offer very nicely, will offer fresh flowers. And important thing in devotion is not that Krishna is in need, not that you are obligated to offer. No, It is out of love. Yome bhaktya prayachati. Out of love and devotion, one should offer to Krishna. Because even without our asking Krishna, Krishna is our maintainer, Krishna is our provider, Krishna is our supplier. So therefore, we should offer with devotion. And any such leaf or flower or fruit which naturally grows can be offered to Krishna. The next question, 21 generations liberates father's father or son's son? This is the question that is being asked. In the description on Prahlad Maharaj, it is said in the Bhagavatam that 21 generations, Lord Narasimha told, assured Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was anxious whether his father will be punished for the sinful activities the father has committed. So Prahlad was requesting the Lord, kindly excuse my father. So the Supreme Lord replied, my dear Prahlad, O most pure, O great saintly person, your father has been purified along with 21 forefathers in your family. So this verse talks about forefathers. That means his father is purified. Prahlad's father is purified. Father's father is purified. Father's father's father is purified. Like that, 21 generations. Entire dynasty has been purified. So it's talking about the past. But Srila Prabhupada says in another place, the family in which a Mahabhagavata means a 100% pure devotee, takes his birth, such a family is very fortunate because due to the birth of this first great devotee, the members of the family, past, present and future, up to 100 generations, become liberated by the grace of the Lord out of the respect for his beloved devotee. So, in case the Mahabhagavata has taken birth in a particular family, that family's past, present and future members up to 100 generations become liberated. So that is also told by Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam. Both of these are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.